today, our finances are a snapshot, hopefully, of who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. But yet, as we continue to grow, we need to keep having these conversations. What are our interests? What does drive us? What does move our needle forward or backwards? And does our DNA still match our finances?
Comedian Jeff Allen had his own experience, and here's what he says.
Well, about a month and a half ago, we're eating dinner at a really nice restaurant. She looks on the menu and she says, they have lobster. I go, yeah, they do. She goes, I love lobster. It's my favorite. And I look at her and I go, since when? We've been married 37 years. This is the first I've heard of your lobster thing. And she goes, oh no, well, they're so expensive. And I said, I can spring for one lobster a year, babe. Look, we'll Dave Ramsey it. I'll put $4 in an envelope every week. $4 in an envelope every week. 52 weeks, we'll have $208. Walk into the restaurant, I'll plunk all 52 envelopes on the counter. Get this woman a lobster.
Jeff Allen is a man after my own heart. Again, the point is how surprises can pop up even after decades of being happily married to somebody. How long have you and Kimberly Ann's been married?
Yeah, 18 years. We're getting close to 20, and we're trying to figure out how to plan a 20-year anniversary trip. So what we want to do, so any ideas, throw them in the comments.
Well, for those of you who are in a marriage, you can learn new things about that person, even though you've been together for years and years. You actually see this happen firsthand with couples having conversations about their retirement plans, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff ends up kind of fleshing itself out through the course of our meetings. It rarely comes in as the topic of conversation. I had Tim and Linda who were recently coming through, and as we were talking to them, I'm going through and we cover all of our typical stuff: income, taxes, risk mitigation, how their risk tolerance. We do an estate plan, and we talk about long-term care. As soon as I got to long-term care, she really perked up and kind of started having a lot to say. And she was engaged through that, but it really was like it became her topic.
You could tell her physical language, her body language changed and more, yeah.
And after a few minutes, Tim literally said, I don't think we've ever talked about this. I didn't realize it's such a big deal. She goes, well, it's a really big deal. And so in that moment, there was like this weird realization across the room of like, oh, they just learned something about each other as I'm learning, but I'm also learning about, hey, maybe she's got some stuff guarded that she hasn't really shared.
Has never come up before.
And so our job as financial advisors is not to tell you what to do. It's to find out who you are and what matters most, and then find out a way to make life happen the way you want it to. It's not to be the genius in the room. You'd hope that your advisor is a smart guy and that he works with really, really smart people. But how we manage money for different clients as advisors, and at the same time, how I manage clients' money for different clients within our little ecosphere of our firm is different. So I think that what we want to do is spend more time on the who and the why and the what reveals itself through the process. When Kimberly and I went to Mexico a few years ago for a vacation, they had limes out there. Now, I had never seen Kimberly eat lime anything ever. And we were there, and she decided, because we're on vacation, to kind of do like a fancy garnishing, and she sprinkled lime juice on her stuff. And we've always put it in guacamole. But other than that, I've never seen her use it. So she starts putting it on her chicken and putting on different stuff. And she goes, I am so into limes right now. And it's a very similar thing. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you like limes. She goes, I've always liked limes. I'm like, all right. I've done the grocery shopping for our family for a large portion of our married life because I do a lot of cooking. I've never bought us limes. Never. So unless she's hoarding limes in her car, I'm not worried about a second family, but she may have a secret food life I don't know about, right? And that is that fun evolution as people we go through. And money and finances and retirees are no different. You go through these phases of life and evolution of life where sometimes things make sense and eventually it doesn't. When our health, we start out going to a pediatrician. And at some point you age out of that pediatrician unless you're Ross and Friends and you keep going. But then otherwise you start going to your family doctor. And the reason is because your needs have changed over time. In the same way, your finances are an evolving process. Who we are today is not who we were 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago. And who we will be in 5 to 10 years is different than who we are today. And again, because the who and the why matters more than the what.
Yeah.
If we know who a client is, if we know who someone is, I understand what they want to accomplish and I understand why. When someone comes in and says, I had this, because I told the story about Tim and Linda about how she suddenly sparked up all this stuff. Well, I had another client who had been with me for several years. Then all of a sudden he comes into one meeting and says, we got to get everything into a trust. And I'm like, what kind of a trust? An irrevocable trust or irrevocable trust. We have to get it into one. And I'm like, all right, someone in his family is going
Like
into
all of a
long-term care
sudden.
facilities. Yeah, out of
Okay.
nowhere. We had never
Yeah.
discussed it. Other than
Right.
early on, I said, hey, based on your situation, you don't really need a trust right now.
Yeah.
We need a will and power of attorneys. We may eventually need a trust down the road. But this was sudden change. So he said, all right, what's going on? Who in your family recently went into a home? And he said, my mom. My mom just went in. She does not qualify for Medicaid, and they are charging her 10 grand a month for care, and it's eating away at her money. And his dad had passed away.
Okay.
Again, so there's a why,
Yeah.
right? We hear from the who, and all of a sudden we found out the why, and we start digging in, and now we start building new plans. Now, again, he'd been a client for a long time. Something changed, so now we have to change. Let's build a plan for the who and the why, and that determines what the what is, how we invest, what type of accounts, what's our tax strategy, what's our estate planning strategy, how do we protect money from Medicaid spend down. It all builds out together. So I just think that in the same way, Jeff Allen, it's a great bit about we can do lobster. We can make this happen. You don't have to
Yeah.
hide this thing because you think they're so
Right.
expensive.
It's just so expensive.
Right?
It's like we can at least once a year. I can take you for a nice lobster
Yeah.
dinner.
And the bit about $4 a week into a
Yeah,
Dave Ramsey envelope
that's
is
it.
also really, really funny. And to think about walking in with 52 envelopes, the way he said it.
Just
But
the idea to drop it on the counter. Boom! Get this
just
one.
slap it in here. Get this one
Bring
a
this one
lobster.
fish.
But again, our job is to keep asking those questions and to keep couples on the same page. We live in this space all the time. You go do all the stuff you do, and a good financial advisor brings you back into the fold and says, let's get back on the same page with these areas that maybe, hopefully you're discussing at home, probably not. And we go through and say, let's recalibrate. Are we still in agreement? Are we still here? Are we still there? Because the who and the why help us determine the what. So I think that's my big takeaway from this is that, and again, another great Friends references when Phoebe says he's her lobster, right? Like why? Because they partner for life. They are together for life and they're on the same page. And so I think that's a great place for us to be. If you're so into limes right now and you're so into certain phases of life, then build it out. So that, yeah, I love this quote. I love this story, and keep the conversations going.
And I think that for people, much like people will have couples counseling, they will go to an actual therapist because they realize they got something. It's like, we got this thing going on. We got to figure it out. We're going to call in somebody for a while to help us sort through it. The same can and should be said for your money. And you will very often, I know you see it all the time happen with couples, stuff will come up and she's like, you've never said that before. And none of us want to be, for me, I never want to be in a situation where Kyle's like telling this truth or this worry about him that he's never said to me before. But I think for a lot of people, maybe they don't even know questions they don't know to ask, things that they don't know to be concerned about. And that's what you're here to help, is to kind of poke holes into certain things, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know the questions to ask. Our firm knows the questions to ask. Why? Because we do this every day. Again, like when I go into the mechanic, he asks me some questions. I don't like answering them because I don't know anything about cars. But I go in and say, it's kind of doing this, I think. And here's what the light says when it comes up. And can you please just fix my car? Right. And so they ask a bunch of questions and I answer them the best of my ability. Well, in the same way, when it comes to finances, we ask all the questions. Hey, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what we do. We professionally ask questions to figure out the who and the why.
Yeah. Michigan's Retirement Coach.com is our website, and where you can go to learn more about Mike, about his team, about LifePlan Financial Design and the work that they do and how they can help you as well. We've also got links posted in the show notes. If you are getting close to retirement, if you and your spouse have never sat down and had a conversation with each other about goals, concerns, how to make your money work in the years ahead, let's begin that conversation. Mike and his team, they are here to walk through those conversations with you as a guide in this area. So again, it's michigansretirementcoach.com. Now everybody go get a lobster.
Every lobster.
A lobster's for everybody. And limes.